fake. Stand up to throw. Shoot it right side. Touchdown, LA. Colby Parkinson calls game. Give Matthew his MVP. A 4-touchdown closing statement for the 37-year-old in his 17th season. The Rams are in the clear. They'll be the 5 seed going to Carolina next week.
That is your Rams call of the game, presented to you by the Call Jacob Injury Hotline, the only number LA trusts after an accident. 800-345-6789. 800-345-6789. So Stafford's MVP candidacy took a little bit of a backward step a week ago, Monday Night Football. 3 interceptions, a loss to an Atlanta team on a primetime game where everybody's watching. Today, a little bit of a slow start, but he finishes with 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He finishes with 259 yards, a quarterback rating 114.5. He completes 25 of 40 throws. Did he win the MVP?
I don't.
You think they go for May?
I don't think they go for May. I just don't know if Stafford has locked it up. If you 2-3 weeks ago, I'd say it's Stafford's to lose. If he just didn't put that Atlanta game together, I'd say it's over with. We're just waiting for Stafford to get the trophy. Now I think we're going to have to – I know they say it doesn't matter, but I think we're going to have to see how these teams do in the postseason.
Morales?
2 tweets that I want to read. First is from Rams president Kevin Demoff. He tweeted out, toughest schedule of any playoff team, number 1 offense in the NFL, 46 touchdowns, MVP with the check mark. Then our friend Arash Markazi, who covers LA sports and has been for years, has been sending this tweet out quite a lot the last few weeks. Something happened to this Rams team with about 8 minutes left in Seattle on December 18th, and they simply have not been the same team since. The last time we sat here at HBC doing this show, 14-3 seemed like could happen. Matthew Stafford being the MVP was a given. This being the best team in the NFC, having that bye week seemed like it was a given. And that has all changed. So I ask you, Travis.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford gets the MVP, but they lose. This Rams team loses to Carolina next week in the wild card, which, by the way, producer Emily made this point before we came on the air. The worst 2 losses of the season for the Rams have been against NFC South opponents.
Yes.
Carolina and Atlanta. Does it matter if Matthew Stafford gets the MVP, but they lose to Carolina next week?
Matters to Matthew Stafford.
But does it really matter?
Yeah, it matters to Matthew Stafford. It matters for his Hall of Fame candidacy. Does it matter for the conclusion of the season? No. They will take a long time for that to fade into the background, that you were an early exit in the playoffs, that you had that first seed kind of in your back pocket with 3 weeks to go and you let it get away. That will take a while to go away. But this is one of the great quarterbacks of his generation that has just one thing or another short of being a deadlock cinch Hall of Famer, right? He's got the Super Bowl, but he missed the first, 10 years of his career being on a bad team, not going to the playoffs very often. If he goes to a Super Bowl, wins an MVP, puts up record-breaking numbers. He passed Matt Ryan today on the all-time completions list. He's 6. He's going to catch Aaron Rodgers next year, assuming that Rodgers doesn't play.
I want to see either tied or past Dan Marino.
He's checking off all of these accomplishments. I think it matters to him a great deal. I don't think he would ever say it like I just said it, but I think it matters. Winning the MVP is a big deal, even if the team doesn't have the ultimate success.
He would taint his MVP season, though, if they got bounced in the first round.
So, Sue, you know how all in I've been. I'm wearing a Rams chain. 14-3. I said it to Rams general manager Leslie.
I was waiting. I knew that was going to come.
The Rams chain?
No, you told Leslie. We called you a very confident young man.
This is heartbreaking. What's happened the last several weeks of this team. I think you are Walrus and Encino's here. Walrus. Now we are putting somebody on the air here live for the people. Walrus is going to be on the air next segment, but it's heartbreaking. This team is crawling into the playoffs and not in a good way. You can't tell me beating the Arizona Cardinals in Week 18 is some sort of accomplishment.
It's not. However, had they finished the game today the way that the game went for 3 quarters or 2.5 quarters, I would be 100% on your side. I like that they got hot at the end. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe they go to Carolina and they look like the team that they look like today for the first 2.5 quarters, and we're sitting here and having a conversation about how they went from the top seed to out in the first round against a Carolina team that they should have beaten, that they lost to twice, and we're having a totally different conversation. But Matthew Stafford, if I would have told you at the end of the day, they won 37-20, he threw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they won going away, do you feel bad about that?
No, but we shouldn't be in this situation. As you're talking about the playoff picture and that the Seattle Seahawks are the number 1 seed, it breaks my heart. That should have been the Rams. And something happened, to Arash Marcosi's point. Something happened on December 18th that the cloud is still covering it.
Devontae Adams got hurt. Kevin Dotson got hurt. Alaric Jackson got hurt. Quentin Lake got hurt. Tyler Higbee got hurt.
They had some questionable referee calls.
All of those guys, or hopefully all of those guys.
So you're going to make me feel better?
I'm trying to. I'm telling you.
Okay, here's another thing to make you feel better. Those 2 losses they had to the Seahawks and the Falcons are by a combined 4 points. 1 point to the Seahawks, 3 points to the Falcons, and they nearly tied that game to the Falcons.
That 2-point conversion where it was blown dead, thrown back, however you want to do that. That's one of the weirdest plays you're going to see. This is not a team that was getting waxed up and down the field. They had the Carolina one is the one that makes you go, ugh.
Yeah.
That was a very
the Carolina and Falcons are 2 bad Matthew Stafford games.
I think the Falcons loss is a slightly easier one to understand. They were so, for lack of a better word, hungover from what happened in Seattle that game really didn't matter as far as where they were ultimately going to end up getting seeded.
And they played a coach who knew them very well, and Raheem Morris.
All of those things were kind of added up, and they still almost won that game. The Carolina one was, what the heck's going on in this game?
Those 2 fourth-down conversions that the Panthers had for touchdowns are huge, and then all of those interceptions by Matthew Stafford. But I want to make a point. Like there's some things rolling around about the comparisons between Drake Maye and Matthew Stafford, and they're probably going to be the 2 MVP candidates. One of them, people are throwing around that the Rams have better receivers than the Patriots do, which they do. The Rams have better receivers than the Patriots. They have Puka Nacua and they had Devontae Adams. What was Devontae Adams doing last year?
Right.
Wallowing away.
Right.
Puka Nacua is only Puka Nacua because of Matthew Stafford. If Puka Nacua ended up even on the Packers, he wouldn't be who he is today. I think they're only this good because Matthew Stafford is throwing them the ball. So I think, honestly, that's a point in Matthew Stafford's favor.
I agree.
Another point is that, the Rams, you don't pick who you play. But the Rams played every great defense in the NFL besides maybe the Broncos. And they beat most of them. They beat Seahawks one time, lost one time. And they put up a ton of points against the Seahawks both times. Look at the game over the weekend, yesterday, with the Seahawks and the 49ers. 13-3.
Yeah.
And the 49ers are a very good team. So it's going to be a difficult MVP decision for sure.
I think that, it's going to tip it in Stafford's favor. I think it's a better story.
Legacy.
It is a better story. Drake Maye is in his 2nd year in the league.
He'll have more time.
Stafford is in his 17th season in the league. And I know that, you look at the numbers. You look at touchdowns. You look at Matthew Stafford. You look at wins. It's neck and neck. You look at all of the numbers are either in Stafford's favor or everything else is really, really close. The better story is a guy that's 37 years old in his 17th season in the league who's never even been an all-pro, winning an MVP for the first time. I know that nothing's guaranteed moving forward, but Drake Maye is going to have a lot of bites at this thing along the way. This is Stafford's last great bite at something.
But they are a 5 seed, and the Patriots are a 2 seed.
Tough. That is again, but context matters. You're right. The Rams are a 5 seed, but they're 12-5. They beat they have the best record against winning teams out of anybody in the league. You look at what New England has done. They've played 2 good teams. They've played two good teams.
Above 500 teams.
Right, and that's what I mean. And so the level of competition is different, and the Matthew Stafford story might be the difference to get in or
You think Myles Garrett has a chance at it at all?
Not a chance. 0.0%.
Christian McCaffrey has a better chance.
He's on a last-place team, and he's a defensive player. That's it. I mean, good luck.
Yeah, it's kind of tough for a defensive player to even get considered for it. You can break records. It's just not an award that